What's going on, Jeromes? So, finally, mercifully, we are into April. And by the way, we ain't all about April Fool's jokes, so get the hell out of here. But your Minnesota Vikings will finally, likely, maybe, probably, be selecting their future franchise quarterback at the end of this month in the 2024 version of the NFL Draft. And will it be Drake May? Will it be Jaden Daniels? Will it be Michael Penix Jr.? Will it be JJ McCarthy? Question mark. Now, JJ McCarthy, yes, there are some question marks. There's like lack of college stat production, but all he did was win no matter what. He was clutch on third down, clutch in the fourth quarter when he was actually playing in the fourth quarter because Michigan was just blowing teams out. And yes, Jim Harbaugh raving about JJ McCarthy, calling him the greatest college quarterback of all time. Obviously, Harbaugh does have a vested interest with McCarthy since obviously him coaching him in college, as well as, hey, if McCarthy goes in the top four, maybe that Chargers pick at 5 suddenly becomes the number one pick, essentially, if quarterbacks go 1 through 4 in the draft. So I don't think it's all altruistic with Harbaugh there. But the Vikings are an interesting spot. With 11-23, they can get into the top 5. And if McCarthy takes a tumble, say it goes Williams and then May and then Daniels, or Daniels and May, do the Cardinals trade? Do they stay put? Do we have to worry about the Broncos, who allegedly are really in on JJ McCarthy? Or do the Giants take a swing at him either? But can the Vikings move up to 4 or 5 and give up just a smidge less in trade capital and go get your guy? It's possible. And again, I do understand, the drawbacks with JJ McCarthy. I understand that it's putting a lot of faith in the evaluation process. You're betting on traits. You're betting on what he can do going forward. But I feel like he does have the traits and the floor and the ceiling to grow and show with the Minnesota Vikings. And Jordan Reid over at ESPN, our guy, also agrees. So breaking down JJ McCarthy, 6'3", 219, blah, 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 where he excels. The Wolverines placed more trust in McCarthy this past season, and it paid dividends. 3-year start for Michigan. It's kind of a big deal. He led them to the first national title since 1997. He completed 72.3% of his passes, 6th in the country, and was accurate at all levels of the field. His 88.2 total QBR was 3rd in the FBS, as I burp. So the QBR is on a scale of 100, which is pretty good. It's pretty good, man. One of the more impressive parts of McCarthy's game is his efficiency on play action, where he completed 76.3% of his passes, 80 attempts, and took advantage of defenses selling out to stop the run. And that's exactly what he's going to be asked to do with the Vikings, where Kevin O'Connell's offense is very heavily under center and a lot of play action, even though he doesn't run the ball a lot. You ever notice that? It's like our quarterback has to come in and be good off of play action, except you don't really run the ball. I really like the ball placement that I saw on McCarthy's tape last season, too. He hardly ever forces his intended targets to work to haul in passes, putting throws within their body frames, which is nice. Last year, the Vikings were able to put up some numbers, but there was a couple of hospital balls with the backups. He was off target on only 8.1% of his throws this past season, finishing with just shy of 3,000 yards, 22 touchdown passes, and 4 picks. And check out his third down numbers. 67.1% completion percentage, 9.2 yards per attempt, 6 touchdown throws, and no picks. At his pro day, McCarthy consistently got the ball out on time and accurately, which, displaying strong footwork from under center and the shotgun. That's the thing, too, where, a lot of these college quarterbacks come from spread offenses and they live in shotgun. But in the pro game, especially what O'Connell wants to do, you got to be under center. And that is a different skill set, especially since a lot of these guys spread offense in college, high school, 7-on-7. So that is an underrated part of it. And also the footwork corresponding with your 3, 5, 7-step drops, half boot rollouts, boot action, etc. And also just the whole act of faking the handoff, where, there's a lot of quarterbacks that just get really lazy with it, and defenses can just get that extra fraction of a second when they know the running back's not getting the rock, or they know when he is. That's part of it too. Where he needs work. Lapses in decision-making plagued him in the past, and he really needed to learn to live to see another day by throwing the ball out of bounds or hitting his check down to avoid bad turnovers. For the most part, he improved there. McCarthy threw 3 of his 4 interceptions in one game against Bowling Green in September. That was an odd game. Remember Bowling Green beat the piss out of the Gophers a couple years ago? The same questions we had about McCarthy going into the season still exist because of Michigan's run-heavy formula. How much more potential is there to uncover? McCarthy's usage in the Wolverine system is why opinions are so mixed on his outlook at the next level. And his combine workout, which was a little inconsistent, didn't answer many of the lingering questions. I thought his movement skills were kind of on point. Lastly, scouts still want to see a better understanding of how to mix speeds on his throws. McCarthy is a fastball-only passer who hasn't quite figured out when and how to put touch on throws, and we saw that at his pro day. Potential NFL team fit the Minnesota Vikings. So, leaves a bad taste in your mouth reading where he needs work as opposed to all the nice about him. It's sort of like Penix, where he had a great semifinal game, not so much in the finals, but all that stuff. But again, you understand why teams do see the potential. And frankly, if McCarthy stayed for his senior season, or they spread the ball out a little bit more, and he put up some numbers, I think he easily would have been quarterback. He easily could be quarterback one next year, maybe even the number one overall pick. So that's where we're currently situated. McCarthy, in the NIL era, he could have left Michigan. He could have done that. He could have went somewhere with a wide open offense and put up numbers and gotten his flowers and all that stuff. But he didn't, because the kid wants to win, and the kid will do whatever it takes to win. And also, you never heard rumors or whispers or anything about McCarthy. It's like, oh, why are we running the ball? Well, we got to open things up. Blah, blah, blah. Now, you could say that, well, he's a docile game manager, sure, or he's a guy that does what it takes to win. And also, Jordan pointed out his third down numbers. When he's asked to make a play in the clutch, he generally comes up big. That's something to like about it. And here with the Vikings, of course, with Kevin O'Connell and Josh McCown, I think that he could sit and develop, and that's also an underrated part of it, is Sam Darnold. And we've gone over ad nauseum all the benefits that the Vikings have, and I think it's the best landing spot for a first-round quarterback in NFL draft history. It truly is. Everything is set up, and guess what? The kid doesn't have to walk in day one and be that savior. He doesn't have to be that guy, friend. So I do believe in McCarthy, and it is nice to see that our guy Jordan Reid over at ESPN, like he doesn't hold back on the negatives with McCarthy, which there's no perfect prospect out there, but there's a lot to like about McCarthy, and that O'Connell and company, they're not so desperate that they're going to potentially derail the kid's development. They're just, I just want to take it nice and slow, and that's what they're going to do with McCarthy. But your thoughts are thoughts. ESPN Vikings are the best fit for JJ McCarthy, or Rare. And also, frankly, they'd be the best fit for Caleb Williams and Drake May and Jaden Daniels and Michael Pratt and Spencer Rattler and Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix and Sam Harton and also Joe Milton. Sure, nailed it. Anyways, you guys know what to do. Skull, production value.